there are just some food items that you should not give your tarantulas, and today we're going to talk about one of them. Hey guys, it's Patricia from tarantulaheaven.com, and today we're going to talk about a really controversial subject about whether you should or should not feed your tarantulas pinky mice. And now this is a heated topic, but I promise that if you stay with me to the end, I'm going to make an argument that may actually bring this around. So stay tuned. But before we get to that, if you are new to my channel, I post new tarantula info every single week with a video and my Tarantula Tuesday newsletter. And I also have a private Facebook group called Tarantula Heaven where you can connect with me. And I also have created a new tarantula magazine called The Spinneret. So I'm going to leave links to that stuff below. But if you are just interested in getting spider videos every single week, please hit that subscribe button. Today, I wanted to talk about something that can be really dangerous for your spider: pinky mice. So as a new tarantula owner, I think that, everyone's goal is to raise a strong, healthy spider who's going to have a long, happy life. And we want to do this in the best, most ethical way possible. But however, as a new tarantula owner, if you go to like a local pet store or something like that, not knowing any better, you can get talked into some really bad care advice, I guess. I guess you could call that advice, but a lot of new tarantula owners actually do get talked into buying stuff that is not actually good for their spider, or even feeding their spiders really bad things too. There's a lot of different information on the internet, and we're going to talk about some of it today. So first, I would definitely advise that you go to like an exotic store instead of a local pet store, because employees of local pet stores tend to not know what they're talking about. But even if you try to do your own research, you're still going to be pretty confused about this subject, because there actually is a very wide debate in the hobby about pinky mice and if they actually do pose a threat to tarantulas. And you will find arguments on both sides, a lot of different info. And if you go to tarantula forums or arachnid boards or something like that, you're going to find that it is very highly controversial. So one of the biggest goals and the most important thing for tarantula owners is to make sure that they're giving their tarantula a good, nutritious, and well-rounded diet. And this is exactly why so many of us are passionate about the things that we feed our tarantulas. This is why we do things like raise our own roach colonies or our own feeders, so that we can totally control the environment and the nutrition and the health of these animals. So you'll hear tarantula owners, especially the more experienced ones, raising their own crickets, their own roaches, their own worms, and just making sure that those feeders are like gut loaded and stuff like that, to make sure that their spider is getting the best nutrition. And now these things are generally widely known as healthy for the tarantula. I mean, things like worms can be a little more fatty, but you will hear good things about crickets and dubia roaches for tarantulas, definitely. But the same definitely does not apply to pinky mice. Now, I will say that tarantulas will eat pinky mice, even if they've been like frozen or they're dead. And this happens in the wild too, because tarantulas in the wild are very opportunistic eaters, and they may not know when their next meal is coming, so they kind of will strike when they get the chance. So when they're under your care, you can actually make sure that a pinky mouse is not a regular part of its diet. Now, my personal feeling towards pinky mice is that I am not interested in ever giving it to my tarantulas, and it has nothing to do with either the ethics or the nutritious debate or anything like that. It's just something that I personally am not interested in. I don't really see a need to. So that's mine, but we're not going to talk really about how I feel about it. I'm just going to talk about the information that's out there. So why are pinky mice bad for tarantulas? Like I said, this is highly controversial, but the widely held opinion in the hobby was that the tarantulas could not metabolize the calcium in the bones very well, and that it would actually lead them to have molting problems, which could be obviously fatal. Now, over the last few years, this has actually been changing. People are calling this out as a myth, even though it is it's still I would say a widely held opinion in the hobby for sure. But there seems to be a lot of pushback about it, and a lot of people trying to dispel it. Some people are actually saying that this has never really been proven, and I think that there was one study that was done, but it ended up being like a fallacy or something like that, or some sort of circumstantial thing that was actually causing the molting problem or whatever. So it seems like the evidence that this was based on wasn't as concrete as we thought, but still, I mean, this is something that we are still debating. But I would actually like to make a different argument because, you know, I'm not a scientist and I don't really know if it actually causes molting problems. I mean, I don't like the idea of the mice being fed to a tarantula, but just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it causes molting problems. I don't know. But I'd like to definitely make a different argument of why you shouldn't give pinky mice to your tarantulas. And that is because think about the injuries that could be caused to the tarantula. For example, your tarantula could get a broken fang or injure its fangs from trying to bite into a pinky mouse. I would say that with pinky mice, there is definitely a mechanical risk to your tarantula because while they have no problem chomping down on crickets or roaches or anything like that that are softer, trying to sink into a rodent's body could actually cause some damage to the fangs. So we definitely do not want that. I would say that alone is a big risk and something that would definitely deter me if I was considering feeding my tarantula pinky mice. Another big argument for why you shouldn't feed your tarantula pinky mice or any rodent or something like that is because it could actually pose a dangerous unsanitary condition in your tarantula's enclosure. So it would take your tarantula a substantial amount of time to actually get through a pinky mouse, even if it's really small. It's just a lot more work for your tarantula than like a little cricket or a roach or a little mealworm or something like that. So while your tarantula is trying to work on this pinky mouse, even if it's really tiny, there's probably going to be a bit of rotting. So this could definitely introduce harmful bacteria and unsanitary conditions to the enclosure, which you definitely don't want. It's definitely going to smell terrible, so that's gross, and it's going to be really messy for you to clean up, and you might not even get all of it up because who knows what kind of mess this is going to make, right? So it might just be really hard for your tarantula to get through this meal, and you're going to be left over with like a half-eaten, rotting carcass in your tarantula's tank. And even if you clean it up just a few hours later, who knows if you're really getting all of the bacteria or like all the stank out of your tarantula's tank. So I think that is a huge deterrent and a pretty good argument that this might not be the best meal choice for your tarantula. And I would also argue that there aren't really any nutritional reasons to give your tarantula a pinky mouse instead of a cricket or roach. Like, these things are, you know, things that are accepted in the hobby as very good nutritional things that you can feed your tarantula. And things like a pinky mouse, like, they might be very, very high in fat, so that could be a risk to your tarantula. Even if you like take out the molting opinion or any ethical or other things or considerations aside, I don't really see the point if if like a cricket or a roach is perfectly adequate nutrition, why you have to be giving your tarantula something that is higher in fat and very much higher in protein. So, you know, there might be certain risks with that. I think that more evidence or more research needs to be done on that stuff, but I would say that's a pretty solid argument too. I don't think there's really a nutritional benefit to giving your spider a pinky mouse or a rodent when they are totally fine on like little feeders. This is a discussion that we're going to keep having, and it's a controversy and a debate that is not going anywhere anytime soon. I think that, you know, we definitely need to have more solid experiments and scientific data to back up any claim. But I would say that in the meantime, it is our responsibility to make the best decision for our pets and to kind of consider all aspects of what we're choosing to feed our tarantulas and what kind of risks they might pose to our tarantulas, and also what kind of benefits and like why would we choose to do something like that? What is the actual benefit to the spider? With all that being said, I would like to very strongly say that I don't think you should ever feed live mice to your tarantulas. Because, you know, mice can bite, they can be very strong, and I don't think that it is ever worth the risk of putting your tarantula in a position where it will have to defend itself or be hurt in the process of trying to go after its food. I just think that it's like very wildly irresponsible. And I know that a lot of tarantula owners like to do this with their larger tarantulas who can probably probably go to battle with a mouse more easily, but I still, you know, for me, I don't know, I'm very cautious and it does not sit right with me, and I don't know why you would really want to take the chance, but that is my personal opinion on that. But anyway, I'd love to know what you think. Have you ever fed your tarantula pinky mice? Has it ever impacted its health, and have you ever had any other issues? What is your even opinion on it? Do you think that it's okay to do? Do you think that it's wrong to do? I would like to continue this discussion in the comments, and just like keep adding to the kind of wealth of information that we know about why we should or shouldn't do this with pinky mice and tarantulas. So definitely, if you do have a stance or an opinion on this, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, I actually do put out a tarantula video every single week, so feel free to subscribe. And if you'd like to talk about tarantulas with me more, you can definitely leave a comment, or we can continue this discussion on Facebook, because I actually do have a private Facebook group called Tarantula Heaven, and you can always find me in there. Just talking about spiders and other stuff. And if you would like even more spider stuff from me, and to kind of see my other work that I'm doing in the hobby, you can definitely check the links in the description at the very bottom. I am currently working on a tarantula magazine. I just put out the first issue not too long ago. It's called The Spinneret, and you can definitely find links to the Patreon and the magazine link down below. And you can also sign up for my Tarantula Tuesday newsletter, where I share even more information about like my life with my spiders and other fun stuff that I'm doing. So yeah. Thanks for watching this video and being a part of this debate, I guess, because I would really like to foster a discussion on this topic, and I think that we can all learn from each other and by sharing our opinions. So if you made it all the way to the end, I know it was kind of long, thank you so much for being a part of this discussion, and I am really interested in hearing your own feedback and your own feelings about it. So anyway, until next time, Spiderlings, thank you so much, and I will see you soon.